Now that the Senate has tabled Speaker Boehner's debt bill, attention is now turning to other possible legislation. Now, one of the alternative proposals that is gaining momentum is called the 1% Spending Reduction Act. Now, it's also known as the Mack Penny Plan. Now, the plan aims to balance the federal budget within 8 years through 3 simple steps: cutting spending by 1% every year for the next 6 years, capping spending at 18% of GDP in 2018, and reducing overall spending by $7.5 trillion over 10 years. Now, it's authored by Florida Congressman Connie Mack. Last spring, it was introduced by Wyoming Senator Enzi just a few weeks ago. Now, the bill is already enjoying the support of at least 43 co-sponsors in the House, a handful of senators, including Tea Party caucus member Kentucky Senator Rand Paul, who insists this is the only plan currently on the table proposing real cuts. So is the Mack 1% solution the one that could finally save us all? Joining me now, the man behind the plan, Florida Congressman Connie Mack, who decided that he would support. You did support or did not support Speaker Boehner's bill?
I voted no, Sean.
Okay, that's what I thought. Now, let me just explain to people, because this is what all the plans that we are talking about here, there's not one of them that solves or attacks the real problem. Because next year, spending goes up 7.5%. The year after, we spend 7.5% more. The year after, we spend 7.5% more. So am I correct in explaining this, meaning the baseline?
That's correct. The baseline continues to go up at about 7%.
All right. And you were suggesting, and I've been pushing this plan, as you know, all week, because I think we've got to deal with reality here. They're spending too much money. The country's going bankrupt. We're going to have $25 trillion in debt. I like cut, cap, and balance, and I like your bill. So you're saying if we freeze spending at 2011 levels for 6 years and then cut 1% a year, I want you to say it in your own words.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Sean. And also, I'd like to say that Senator Rubio has also just signed on to the bill. So we're picking up some momentum, more members of the House. But what the bill does is this. So we take 1 penny out of every federal dollar for a year for 6 years. So 1% a year for 6 years. In the 7th year, we cap spending at 18% of GDP.
Which is historically what we spend.
That's right. And then so we balance the budget in the 8th year, and we cut $7.5 trillion. And this is what is so beautiful about this plan. We're taking 1 penny out of every federal dollar. Everybody watching the show tonight has had to take more than 1 penny out of their home budget or out of their business's budget. And the federal government should be able to do the same. It's common sense. Whether you're Republican, Democrat, liberal, conservative, independent, it makes sense. It's something you can agree with and understand that the way to get our fiscal house in order is to balance our budget. And people are looking for real solutions.
You know, and cut, cap, and balance was great, too. And I know you supported it. You voted for it when it came up, correct?
I voted no.
You voted no on that?
Yeah, I did, Sean.
All right, I'm sorry. Well, I thought you did. But I like cut, cap, and balance because you're at least dealing structurally with this. But again, and I like the balanced budget amendment. I think it's important we have it. But
I do, too.
What I like about your plan is simple. This is it. Well, everybody in America, we're not going to cut the federal spending except 1% a year from this year's budget, which is what, $3.69 trillion?
That's right.
So we're going to only cut 1% next year. We won't increase it to projected 8%. We're going to cut 1% this year, 1% next year, every year 1%, and then we can get to a balanced budget in 8 years.
That's right.
Then why are we voting on this? Is every plan contingent on these projected increases?
Well, that's what I think people are so furious with. In Washington, they hear about all these gimmicks and these numbers and these schemes, right? So what is a baseline? Well, everybody thinks a baseline would be flat, but in Washington, a baseline is an increase. And what I'm saying is enough is enough. We have to stop. And this is a real solution to balance our budget. And we're only taking 1 penny out of every federal dollar.
Where's the criticism? Because I've watched this week. I've come under fire. Other conservatives, Tea Party members are called hobbits. The Weekly Standard suggests that in fact that this is helping Obama. And meanwhile, all these plans are based on increasing spending 8% a year. This is like drunken sailors on anabolic steroids, and Nobody's talking about slowing or stopping all growth of this monster that has gotten out of control.
That is exactly the point, Sean, and I'm glad that you couched it that way. So everything that we're talking about up to now is a decrease in the rate of growth. It is not we're not cutting spending.
Except 1%.
My bill would cut 1%, but every other plan that's been out there is still growing the size of government, is spending more money than we have.
Like, for example,
we've got to get our fiscal house in order.
Like, we're going to spend another $9 trillion in the period, over this 10-year period. We're going to accumulate $9 trillion in new debt, and over the 10-year period of time, we're going to get $1 trillion in savings based on the Boehner Plan passed today, right?
That's right. And we can't, Sean, we can't afford it. And everybody back home knows we can't afford it. And what they're saying is it's time for Washington to get its act in gear, to shoot straight with the American people, be honest, look them in the eyes, tell them we understand the problem and we can fix it. And one way to fix it is with the penny plan, by taking 1 penny out of every federal dollar.
Well, tell Marco Rubio that I signed up before he did.
I'll make sure to tell him.
All right.
I'll make sure to.
Look, I got to tell you, this is a great idea. And I hope you can advance this. I hope maybe we can get a vote on it, because I think it's going to be good for the country. And I think Americans can wrap their arms around it, because they've had to cut more than a penny out of every dollar that they take in because of the bad economic situation that Congress has now put on them over the years. So
you're absolutely right, Sean.
All right, Congressman, good to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you, too.